Come along and ride this train. Across the mountains, prairies, reservations, rivers, levees, plains. Come along and ride this train. Ride this train. Ride this train with me along the great interstate highways of our nation, where there's no stop signs, no train crossings. You can drive for days without passing a town or city. But you see that next exit over there? Let's ride along the old state highway and the county road. Let's go over the bridges and the trestles of yesterday. Let's take a look at some of the things that society has cast aside in its mad rush toward what? That patch of woods you see over there, that's where I used to pick up hickory nuts. And just over the hill was our old swimming hole. It wasn't so big and the water wasn't blue all the time, but it cooled us off in the summer. Hey, we didn't call it skinny dipping then either. We called it swimming naked. It was all our very own. It's gone now. Some people call it progress. Boring through the mountains, bypassing the towns. Interstate 90 is a sight to behold. But that monument to progress and engineering skill has covered up the old swimming hole. 30 feet straight up from where the old hole stood, they sell 8 kinds of ice cream and the food's mighty good. But it never can compare with the food for the soul you could get from a dip in the old swimming hole. Oh, the old swimming hole, its cool waters ran deep, felt good to a boy with mud on his feet. And I'm wishing these days I could strip down to my soul and go for a dip in the old swimming hole. I suppose that every once in a while we should examine what's going on around us. Ask ourselves, are we taking a step ahead to a bright future, or have we passed backwards? You know, when the telephone was invented, some people said, imagine we can talk to somebody in the next county. And then somebody else said, yeah, but there goes our privacy. And when the automobile was invented, some said, now we can drive into the big cities. Somebody else said, there goes that Saturday night walk along the riverbank. And when the massive network of interstate highways came into being, somebody said, now we can drive from New York to Los Angeles in just a few days. Somebody else said, hey, maybe we're bypassing some great places, towns, some great people with stamina and guts and backbone. That sturdy stock of America that made this country the great nation it is today. People like somebody I knew called Cisco Clifton. Now, Cisco Clifton had a filling station about 1.5 miles from town. Most cars passed unless they were out of gas, so Cisco was always around. Regular gas was all that he sold except tobacco, matches, and oil. Other than that, he fixed lots of flats, keeping Cisco's rough hands soiled. He'd wipe the glass and check the air, and 100 times a day, he patiently gave directions on how to get to the state highway. He'd usually give them some water and a tie or two some air. Well, once a big black Cadillac spent $7 there. He'd give anybody anything they'd ask and lend anything he had. His tools or tires, bumper jacks or wire, to the good ones or the bad. In wintertime, there was a depot stove and a table for the checker game, and every morning at sunup, the checker players came. So Cisco Clifton's filling station was always in the red. personal loans were personally gone, but never a word was said. One morning at 8, the checker players heard a big bulldozer roar like a freight. And Cisco said, I hope my kids stay fed when they build that interstate. He had managed to pay for the property where his little filling station sat, and friends still came for that checker game. So Cisco settled for that. He wouldn't say so, but Cisco knew that that interstate was too much to fight. But to keep his will and to pay his bills, he did odd jobs at night. He still opened up at sunrise and the checker game went on. But the cars flew past on high-test gas, and the neighbors had sold out and gone. If a car ever did come by, he was lost. But if they stopped, they were treated the same. And now at Cisco Clifton's filling station, there's just a howdy and the checker game. I hear people talking about those times. They always call them the good old days. I know I do. How about you? Well, I'm for progress, depending on the price today. A life of affluence abounds now, though. We got fast cars, color TV. We've even sent men to the moon. We can fly in jet planes, ride in fast boats, and coffee can start percolating automatically. Yeah, you've come a long way, baby. Or have we? When was the last time you said hello to your neighbor? When was the last time you went to a picnic in the country? When was the last time you sat on the front porch or on your front steps and really listened to the birds sing? When was the last time you ever really heard the wind blow? You know, we didn't have as much in the old days, but somehow when there was a meeting on a Sunday, when the old folks were there, and you talked about the good old days and the memories, it was like being there. I like to still remember those things. Let the mighty highways cut across the mighty land, but go around the forest and let the redwood stand. Let nature work her miracles off of the right of way. Let's hold on to a little bit of yesterday. Let the rivers run on free and clean into the sea. Let Mother Nature have her way, the way it ought to be. What happened to the fields where little children used to play? Let's hold on to a little bit of yesterday. Good night, sweet memories.